Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, January the 10th, 2025. Well, I have a clip that I want to play right off the bat. Let me turn off this camera and go to the clip. We have Cyrus. He snuck into Michael's room. Now he snuck in, then he says a little prayer as if he's truly anointed by God. Says, "Don't worry, Michael, you're in a lot of pain, but soon it'll all be over. The Lord's gonna call you to him." He takes the digitalis out of his pocket, injects it into the needle, and I'm thinking, okay, who's coming in? Who's coming in? Who's gonna interrupt all of this? Because Michael is not about to have a heart attack and die. No, no, no. Cyrus does inject it into the IV bag and pushes it all the way in there so that digitalis is in that IV bag. And it looks as if Michael is going to, uh-oh, it's gonna suffer from that, right? But we all know, bottom line, Michael is not gonna be killed in GH. My chair's a little too low, y'all, but you know what? Ignore it. It's down a little bit. Normally I have it up higher. Um, so anyway, I was shocked. Now the way Cyrus heard about this, and I'm gonna see how long I could talk tonight because I do live in California. I'm not in an evacuation zone. I'm closer to the Long Beach area, so South Bay. Um, but the ash and the bad air quality, trust me, the winds have blown all that all over. So even if you're not in an evacuation zone, you're feeling the effect. And everybody knows I have asthma. So I've been inhaling it like crazy. In my inhaler, I mean. So anyway, Cyrus was working, which we haven't seen him working at the restaurant. I think that's the Port Charles Grill. And forever. He was working there. He overheard Felicia tell Sasha and Maxie about Michael being in the hospital. Now Martin comes in. Excuse me. And Martin was who was Martin there to meet? He was there to meet a client, but Cyrus no, no, no. He was there to meet Cyrus. Cyrus called him. He rushed right over. He says, "What do you need, brother?" When you call, I pick up the phone, and he tells him about how GH is trying to bar him from seeing. They're trying to bar me from seeing my patients at General Hospital. First thing Martin should have said is, "Dear brother, those aren't your patients. You're only providing comfort to the patients of General Hospital, right? My patients." I was like, whoa, when did you get a medical license? Right? So Martin said, "Cyrus, the work you could do, the volunteer work you can do at any hospital. It doesn't have to be General Hospital. If General Hospital doesn't want you to do it there, then you will be able to help other people at other hospitals." And Cyrus just looks at it, right? Now remember, Portia was telling Lucas, I think, she's gonna make it her mission. She's calling that foundation to make sure Cyrus doesn't get to see anybody at any hospital. She's going above board, right? Above board, just overboard with that. Because, see, that's going to put her in his crosshairs. Anyway, Diane comes over to Martin and says, "Excuse me, uh, can I have a minute of your time? I want to discuss the case, the Corinthos divorce case." And so Martin says, "Well, as soon as I'm done with my brother, sure." And Cyrus says, "Look, we're done. You can go ahead and have your conversation." Cyrus walks away. Martin talks to Diane, and Diane actually, believe it or not, said, "Would you like to talk settlement?" And Martin says, no, because my client's going to do much better than that. And Diana's like, oh, well, I thought I would try, you know. Now, to me, any good attorney, and Martin is a good attorney, but there was no reason Martin didn't at least listen to see what Diane had on the table, right? What kind of settlement? Because that's one of the things Willow said. She goes, no, I want to be able to sit down and mediate and work things out with Michael. So I'm surprised he didn't want to hear the settlement, but whatever. So Jocelyn at the hospital. So anyway, Martin tells Diane, well, okay, if that's it, you know what? I'm going to finish the conversation with my brother. And he's looking around the restaurant like, well, where did Cyrus go? Well, Cyrus was at GH. Now, my question is this, everybody. Why was Michael alone? Jason was in there sitting with him, but Portia needed to come in and give him medication, so she had Jason leave the room. And then she came out and she was telling Jason that, you know, he's on the highest dose of morphine. He's gonna be mostly out because that's the only way they can manage his pain level right now, because his pain, the burns, his outside of the morphine or coming out of the morphine, the pain level would be too high for him, right? So Sasha, after she hears from Felicia what happened, she jumps up from the table. She goes, excuse me, I gotta go. She goes running to GH. And she's standing out there crying, looking at Michael, and kind of actually holding her stomach, but you really couldn't tell she was holding her stomach. Only we knew, right? And my Felicia and Maxie are like, you know, we knew Sasha and Michael were friends, they were close, but that was a severe reaction she had. And Maxie said, it must be those pregnancy hormones, right? So anyway, she's crying, and Jason comes up, and Sasha's saying, you know, Michael and I, you know, we are friends, we're close, but the reason that he and I broke up, excuse me, everybody, let me push pause. Or actually, she said, Michael and I never really broke up. We, the situation with Wiley, so that he could keep Wiley, you know, it took us apart because of what he needed to do. And what Chase and I also agreed and felt, you know, that Willow and Michael needed to do to save Wiley from Nell. She says, but there was never anything against them, you know. Um, and she still loved him. And I'm thinking, well, love is a strong word after all this time, because Brando was the love of your life, Sasha. And you don't just default back to Michael as far as I still love Michael. No. Because remember, everybody, there was a hot minute when Sasha and Michael got back together again. Chase and Willow got back together again, but it just, the spark was not the same in neither relationship. Neither one, right? So anyway, Jason's got a text from Sonny and Carly. They had been in the chapel. Oh, because Drew really was just, oh, he was just really trying to guilt trip, get in Carly's head about you blame you know you blame yourself, you over and over again. You kept putting Michael back into Sonny's life, and you know I'm telling you the truth. You know this is all your fault. And she said, you know what? You're gonna try to throw this in my face now. She said, when my son is upstairs suffering in a bed. She says, but then again, Drew, you have no concern for my son because you slept with his wife. She came circled right back around to it. She said, you pursued her and you slept with her. Your nephew, Drew. Your nephew. And she says, and for the record, you dumped me, and I'm happy because now I see the man you truly are. And he looked at her. He goes, and I'm happier being away from you too, Carly. Because then if you don't know what Willow and I have, Drew is a hot mess, right? So when Sonny came into the chapel, Carly was sitting there crying, and Sonny comes in. He sits next to her, and she tells him what Drew said, not blow by blow, but she says Drew says it's my fault, and Sonny said Drew has no right telling you anything about the decisions you made with Michael when he was young. Carly, you had your reasons, but right now we are going to have a united front. Carly said we got to present a united front where Michael is concerned. He's gonna need both of us. And so they're holding each other's hand, and he goes, oh, and we're gonna be there as a family for him. So she's shakes her head yes, and they're getting ready to leave the chapel. Well, Nina, as Jocelyn was still ripping Willow up one side and down the other, Nina says, stop, you know, you stop attacking my daughter. You have no right to saying these things about my daughter. And then Jocelyn looked at Nina and said, like mother, like daughter. I mean, Jocelyn is Jocelyn, right? So I'm going to say a phrase, everybody. And what name comes to mind with this phrase? Let me see. Okay, here we go. Uh, her first instinct is to lash out. No empathy, no compassion, just rage. What female actress on GH does that describe? Number of them, huh? Number of females. But guess what? The one who was saying it. Nina was saying that to Willow about Jocelyn and Carly. She says, she's just like her mother. Their first instinct is blah, 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 blah. And I thought, Nina, what you're saying and what you're describing is 100% your first instinct. Is her to the core. It was her and it was her daughter, Nell. So I guess like mother, like daughter, Nina. So don't be pointing the finger because you got three of them pointing. Here you pointing at Carly and Jocelyn. You got three of them pointing right back at you because you described yourself. So she goes, Willow, I need to talk to you. Because Willow said, I'm going to talk to Carly. Carly and I have always had a good relationship. And she goes, Willow, now is not the time to talk to Carly. See, this is how naive Willow wants to play it. She wants to play this naive. Nina said, Carly is not going to have any kind of peaceful conversation with you. No, Carly even walked me down the aisle at me and Michael's wedding. And Nina just looked at her. She says, and Carly just had Wiley and Amelia taken away from my apartment. She got a court order, Willow, and she took it out of her purse and gave it to what? She took your kids, Willow, And Willow looked, and Drew was coming off the elevator at that time. And he says, "Wait, what?" And he's by the elevator. And Willow turns and looks at Drew and runs over to him and runs into his arms and said, "They took my kids. You gotta help me." And Nina just looked at her like, "I'm your mother. I'm relaying this news to you. You're going to turn around and run to the guy causing all of this havoc in your life in public at this hospital." And Nina's just looking. And so Nina walks over to them. And Drew takes, and Nina says, Carly served her, Diane and Chase was there, and, social worker was there. And, they took the kids. And Drew takes the paper. And Nina looks at him and he reads it. He goes, "Well, no, this is not fake. This is real." And I'm thinking, why would it be fake? Why would Diane Miller show up with something fake and Chase, the cop, carry it out with the social worker? Drew, you think it's real? So, voice is starting to act up. So they end up in one of the hospital offices. I don't know who office they went and talked in, because see, Willow's a nurse. She don't have an office there. But they went in and used somebody's office. And Willow's saying, "Oh no, what can, what can I do? I got to do something." And so Nina said, was trying to tell her or going to tell her, "Look, Willow, that's why Martin wanted to get started right away." Right. And so she goes, "I don't know what we can do. Martin's going to work on it." And Drew says, "Well, there is something that you could do." And then he goes, "I know what you could do." And Nina looks at him and Willow looks like, "What? What?" He goes, "You have Michael's medical power of attorney. Yeah, you may have filed for legal separation and he filed for divorce, but you still over his medical." And I'm thinking, how does Drew know that? Who told him? Did Martin call Drew? I doubt that. Did Nina tell Drew that? I doubt it. But one thing's for sure, remember she told Martin that Willow would have to feel like she's pushed in a corner in order to act on it. But there is no way, everybody, that Drew knew that piece of information. And he says, "Now." And Willow says, "Okay, but I don't understand. I don't get it." And so Nina says, "Willow, that means you have way more power than you think." And Drew says, "Use it as a bargaining chip to get your kids back. Deny them access to Michael." And she's like, "I couldn't do that. Michael needs the support of his family right now. I could not." And he goes, "Willow, if you want your kids back, you need to exercise that power." And I thought, looky here, thank God she's not over the finances, right? Because like everybody said, she'd be giving Drew back his company and some of Michael's money. So Carly and Sonny see Dr. Robinson, and I forget who else is standing there with him. Saying, "Dr. Robinson, any updates on Michael?" So she said, "No, he's, we're managing his pain." Carly said, "Because Sonny and I want to talk to you about a long-term burn care facility. We want to know what are a list of the top ones." And Willow comes around the corner with Drew right behind her and Nina. I You'll be talking to me about Michael's care. I am his wife. I am over his medical care, or I have the his power of attorney over his medical care, and I will be making all the decisions where Michael is concerned. Carly looks at her. She looks at Sonny. Nina's standing there, but the camera doesn't really pan Nina or Drew. It just shows them become behind Willow, and Drew's on Willow's left and Nina's on Willow's right, but the camera's focused solely on Nina. I mean Willow. Carly looks at her. She looks at Sonny. Sonny looks at her. And I thought, okay, you know what? Bold move, bold move. You're going to restrict access to a mob boss and his wife. That is a definite bold move, Willow. Let's see how bold you're going to stay with that. So not only can we're going to see what's going to happen, but while they're all out and Willow's making this power move, this is what gave Cyrus the time to sneak into Michael's room, because Jason only left to take Sasha home because he got the text from Carly saying they were on their way down now, right? So he felt, okay, I'm gonna take her because didn't really want them to see her. They're crying, right? He thought they'd be right there, but now they're stuck talking, dealing with the Willow situation, which gave Cyrus the access that he needed. Okay. And Brennan, Jack, goes to GH and he gives Jocelyn a list of the people that were at Royce Plaza. Now, it was a WSB drone, so I can't get on Anna too much because it wasn't a drone that the PCPD could access. It's the WSB that got drones flying all over the place, sneaking in there, peeking on everybody, right? So his assistant number one says, but you can't tell anybody that you've accessed that, or you can't give anybody information from our WSB private drone. And Jack says, no, I can't give it that information, but I can give breadcrumbs to Jocelyn Jacks and let her follow the breadcrumbs now that I know who's done it and see where she goes with it. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a little bit ill-advised, Jack. Cyrus is a renowned murderer, right? You're going to point headstrong, thinking she could conquer the world, Jocelyn Jacks. You're going to point her in his direction? Oh, no. I'm thinking, I would never do that. That's too dangerous for her. Carly would cut Jack off at the knees if she knew that Jack knew it was Cyrus and led some breadcrumb for her daughter, right? So anyway, Jocelyn, he sees her at the hospital. He says, I've got some information for you regarding Dex Heller. She says, okay, I'm listening. What? He says, regarding, got on the, what happened to him at Royce Plaza. And so she goes, I thought you said you couldn't access the drones. He goes, oh, it's true. We don't have any drones, liar, as to what happened. But I do work with GCPD, and Commissioner Devane gave me a list of witnesses that were at Royce Plaza at the time. I'm sending you the witnesses now. So he texts them to her. How he got her phone number, I don't know. But he texted them to her, or maybe when she went to him and asked for help, maybe they swapped numbers. I don't know, right? He texted to her. He goes, if you go and just question the witnesses on the list, perhaps someone saw something. Someone, perhaps they could help. And so she saw Felicia come to the nurse's station. And she goes, oh, as she's looking at the list, I recognize some of these people on this list. And then Felicia walks up to the nurse's station and she goes, and I see one now. I'm gonna question her. So she goes over to question Felicia, and Jack is at the nurse's desk pretending to be all on his phone, but really he's listening to Jocelyn, right? And so she told Felicia that, she's just trying to get some closure, into what happened to Dex and any little detail. And Felicia's like, well, I did give a statement to Detective Chase. And she goes, no, I understand it, but if you could just walk me through just the details, maybe something, any little detail can help. So she goes, okay. So she says, I did tell Detective Chase that there was something nagging at me. Something happened. I can't put my finger on it. And trust me, ever since then, I have been trying to remember what there was some insignificant something happened, and I just can't remember. So she had told Jocelyn what she knew, and there was a nurse getting on the elevator. So she gets in the elevator, and the elevator goes, ding, ding. Well, the nurse was holding the elevator door open because somebody else was coming to try to get in it. And you know how some elevators will, like when the doors are trying to close, ding, 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 although they don't ring like no doggone Christmas bells. But anyway, Felicia was hearing this, and she looks at the elevator and she looks at Jocelyn. She goes, that's it. Now I remember. And Jack looks up from his phone and now he's looking at Felicia and Jocelyn. She goes, Cyrus Renault was there collecting money for, collecting money for charity. He was ringing the bells the whole time. She says, except for the during the time that Dex got stabbed, the bells were not ringing. And Brennan looks like, okay, bingo, bingo, pointed in the right direction, right? But I'm thinking the direction of danger, because as this is going on, Cyrus is in there trying to kill her brother. So, I mean, everybody, we're going to have to find out, how does Michael get saved from this situation? Because Cyrus is going to leave the room. He's not going to get caught here. He's not going to, although he should. Perhaps they come in to just change out all the IV bottles. I don't know. All I know is Michael's not going out like this. So anyway, I'm on pins and needles all weekend long, wondering who's going to save Michael. How's he going to, how's the digitalis going to be intercepted so that it doesn't get in his system? Now, if they do walk in, Portia, and she sees Cyrus leaving the room, she's going to sound the alarm as to why was he here in this room. I think then she would be the one. They would figure it out and they would get those bags of digital. They would do something. We'll see. Oh my goodness, they better act fast while Willow's grandstanding. Unbelievable. So that's it, everybody. I was going to try to do some comment corner tonight, go from the bottom up because we're almost at 100 comments, but I I had to stop this recording 2 times just to cough, trying to keep this together. So I'm going to go ahead and give my respiratory system a break here. But oh my goodness, General Hospital is off the chain. Don't you all agree? Off the chain. I'll be back on Monday with another daily recap of General Hospital.